analyzing data. They're just doing something to move science forward in a meaningful, real way. Collecting data can be as simple as describing what you see in the world around you and sending that observation to a research project, or looking at a selection of images and following the steps that the researcher has given you to make some sort of conclusion about them. Those simple actions make a big difference. As we always say at SciStarter, and I'm quoting SciStarter's founder, Darlene Cavalier, scientists don't have enough eyes, ears, or perspectives to answer all the questions we need answered. That's why they need you to do citizen science. So millions of people enjoy science and nature. You all probably count yourselves in this group, even if you maybe necessarily don't realize it yet. Maybe you love going outside and looking at birds and butterflies, or staring up at the night sky and looking for different constellations. Maybe you're really intrigued by how the brain works and you want to understand it a little better. If you wonder about the world around you and these questions, then you are in good company. There are millions of people just like you. And the great news is thousands of scientists need volunteers. There are research questions that they couldn't answer without your help. They can't go door to door to see everything there is to see and to collect everything that needs to be collected, or to analyze everything that needs to be analyzed. They need you. And we'll give you some specific examples today of projects that you can dive in on and get started with. But I really want to make clear, this research is essential and the work of volunteers powers it. But they often can't find each other. The researchers who need help can't find the passionate volunteers who want to help them. That's where SciStarter comes in. The role of SciStarter is as a connector. We connect you to the real science you can do. And I'm going to make sure I'm sharing my sound. Okay, great. This video was prepared to describe what SciStarter is and how SciStarter fills this connector role. So I hope you enjoy.
Citizen science can change the world. These programs mobilize people from all walks of life to contribute to scientific research, from teachers to artists, Girl Scouts to business professionals, students to retirees. Citizen science taps into the power of the people, where they are. Scientific data gathered by individuals and communities gives concerned or curious people, decision makers, and scientists access to more information than they could possibly gather on their own. Your contributions lead to breakthrough research, new approaches, and expedited scientific discoveries. So how can you start to make a difference? SciStarter makes it easy to find the perfect project for you. With a database of more than 3,000 citizen science projects to choose from, you can search by topic, location, age level, and more. Anything that sparks your curiosity is a mere click away. SciStarter can help you take valuable actions to contribute to the projects you're most passionate about. Their tools database provides you with exactly what you need to get started. And with events held across the nation throughout the year, SciStarter brings fun citizen science opportunities directly to you. Visit the SciStarter website to begin exploring the possibilities of scientific participation and create a personal account to receive project suggestions tailored especially for you. Together with SciStarter, we can all play a part in scientific research that can change the world for the better.
And there you have it. That's SciStarter. SciStarter connects citizen scientists, so concerned, curious people from all around the world, to over 3,000 projects, events, and tools that folks have added because they want the help of the crowd. They want to leverage the power of people from all around the world to make a difference for science. And when you go to SciStarter.org, the main website, this is what you see. You see a place where you can easily find a project, search for events, and just dive into different citizen science opportunities. And I wanted to include this cartoon because it always makes me smile. I think you'll be delightfully surprised by the quality of my work on this assignment. I crowdsourced it. I think it really underlines the fact that we can learn something from citizen science, right, by participating, but we can also discover so much more together. We are stronger together than we are apart. That's part of the whole principle of citizen science. So why do this? What's the whole point? Well, it's because citizen scientists help the world discover new things. They create new knowledge. Because of citizen scientists, we now know that bird populations have declined by 50%, that birds are breeding earlier, that there are 50 plus types of bacteria that live in your belly button, that the first flowering of 19 species of plants has moved 9 days earlier over the past decade, that there's a new type of aurora in the night sky, and citizen scientists have named it Steve. There's another Jupiter-sized planet. Invasive mosquito species have arrived in Germany. And in one weekend in 2019, citizen scientists accomplished 2,566 research hours of Alzheimer's research. And you might be wondering, wow, this is quite a broad assortment of discoveries that citizen scientists have helped uncover. It's true, citizen science is as diverse as science itself. It's everything from astronomy to health to biodiversity to zoology and everything in between. And the thing that all these different projects have in common is they had clear instructions or protocols for the citizen scientist volunteers to follow, so they knew exactly what they needed to do to move that research forward. And I also have another video about numbers, because one thing I've learned about libraries and library staff is you all love the numbers. So we're going to play this one really quickly. And some of those numbers are a little low. Since that video was made, there have been over 3,000 projects, events, and tools added to SciStarter. And now there's a community of over 100,000 registered users from all over the world. So you might be wondering, okay, I kind of get how I as an individual can volunteer to do citizen science, but what's the relevance for libraries? Well, libraries are natural hubs for citizen science. Libraries and community-based organizations, you all are the leaders for the people that you serve. You're natural places that people gravitate toward. So when you start educating folks about citizen science and presenting opportunities for them to get involved, it makes a really big impact. And at SciStarter, we and our partners have recognized this by creating the scistarter.org/library-resources page. So on this page, you'll find guides, helpful tips, ideas about how to make citizen science kits, featured projects, and so much more, presented by SciStarter, Arizona State, and other partners. And the beauty of a citizen science kit, you might be wondering, how do I participate in these projects? I already told you that it's often by observing what you see in the world or conducting some sort of analysis. Every project is different. Some projects may ask you to use a special tool to monitor light pollution, for example. Other projects may ask you just to type in on an online form what you see. It really depends on the project, and for the ones that can benefit from the special tools, you can put kits in your libraries for people to check out. And SciStarter is there to help with ideas of materials you can acquire and things that you can construct. I wanted to show this example. This was from a few years back. I wanted to show this progression of how things have grown to show you that you can be a meaningful part of this. But folks have made book displays. They've made interactive posters. They've had people come in person to the library to engage. And this was all the way back when citizen science was just a day. But then with the advent of new kit programs and new efforts, SciStarter and our partners listened to libraries and other groups, and we decided Citizen Science Day isn't enough. It needs to be a month. And now we've been celebrating citizen science year round, but especially for the month of April each year. So these are some kits that you could potentially include in your library and you could discover on the library resources page. I also wanted to include this, the SciStarter.org/library. Additional kit info is here, and it's also linked to on that library resources page, but this is just one way that you can include citizen science in your library. I want to emphasize that citizen science and libraries, it's not one size fits all. There are different opportunities that may be right for your library. Maybe the Exploring Biodiversity Kit would really gel with your community. They just really love plants and they want to go outside and identify them. That's awesome. Or maybe light pollution. Maybe you're in an urban area and you can't really see the night sky, and you know that this topic would resonate with your community. Or maybe you're in a rural area and you want to document the fact that people can see the night sky. The Measuring Light in the Night kit, which features the Globe at Night project, may gel with your community. It just depends on what your patrons' interests are and how to leverage that. We know that you're the best judge of that as a leader, and we want to give you the resources to get started. Or maybe you're not in a place where you want to do kits. You just want to engage in projects with folks, like in the computer lab. Maybe you want them to all pull up an online project on their computers and start conducting some sort of analysis. That's great too. It just depends on what you're looking for. And Citizen Science Month, April, is a great time to get started. The basic premise is that every Citizen Science Month, we're informing and engaging the public on the core principles and practices of citizen science, and we amplify those opportunities to participate through public libraries, community-based organizations, and other trusted partners. And you may be wondering, how did this work last year in 2020, especially with the advent of new public health guidelines and social distancing? How did you do this? Well, we emphasize virtual. So there's lots of in-person programming that often happens for what used to be Citizen Science Day and what's now Citizen Science Month. I put this slide up here because I think it's just such a heartwarming example. There's a research project that I'll tell you about later in this presentation called Stall Catchers, where you can play an online game to accelerate Alzheimer's research. So that's really popular with libraries. They've often brought people into the computer lab to do it. And this picture that's up on the slide is all the way back from the Citizen Science Day, before we expanded it into a month. All the way back in 2019, the Los Angeles Public Library accomplished more Alzheimer's research than any other group in the entire world for that Megathon challenge. And they did that by coming in person to the library. But then when we expanded to Citizen Science Month in April, people did online programming and still engaged in stall catchers, often through their local library, via Zoom and other online resources. And in large part, this is thanks to the support of the National Library of Medicine. If you go to SciStarter.org/NLM, you'll find an open source online tutorial in English and Spanish. You'll find ideas about how you can have diverse participation in citizen science, and you'll find featured citizen science projects that you can do from anywhere, including stall catchers, that online research project to accelerate Alzheimer's research. So this SciStarter.org/NLM page was really important for a virtual program in Citizen Science Month last year. And then this year, it's been a vital resource for in-person, socially distant programming, as well as virtual programming. Like I said, there's no one-size-fits-all for citizen science engagement in your library, and we promise you'll find the right fit for you. And hopefully the sampler I'm giving you today, it'll help you figure out, brainstorm, think of ways to engage as an individual and also with your community. And then the librarians you'll hear from later today and the library staff, who are going to talk about what they're doing for Citizen Science Month. Hopefully they inspire you to get started as well. And that NLM page is a great resource. Also featured prominently on the NLM page is the All of Us Research Program, which is another big focus for Citizen Science Month. So the All of Us Research Program is a precision medicine initiative run by the network of the National Library of Medicine, the NIH. And we have been promoting throughout Citizen Science Month exciting programming about how medicine can be customized. Because basically the premise of All of Us is they want folks to take surveys and donate samples to end one-size-fits-all medicine. One day, medicine could be so tailored that we'll find the perfect treatment for every person. So what is precision medicine? It's an emerging approach for disease treatment and prevention that takes into account individual variability in lifestyle, socioeconomics, environment, and biology. So it's a radical shift in how each of us can receive the best possible care. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is this idea of finding the right treatment for the right person. It's a big push for Citizen Science Month, and the All of Us research project, that program is a citizen science opportunity that's showcased throughout the month in different online events and on that NLM page I pointed you all to. You can also go directly to it at joinallofus.org/NLM. But if you only take one link away from this presentation, you can find it on SciStarter.org/NLM or CitizenScienceMonth.org. So you might be wondering, okay, like how do people generally do this? How do they bring citizen science to their library? It's easy. Here's a particular pathway that we've outlined at SciStarter, and we did it with the help of Carla, the cat librarian. So Carla's a librarian. She wants her library to be a place where people can develop their curiosity and make an impact on their community. She's heard about citizen science, where everyday people collect and share data with scientists to accelerate research. Carla sees a post about SciStarter.org, which connects people to thousands of citizen science projects and lots of free resources, including those for Citizen Science Month in April. She joins one of the phone calls offered by SciStarter each week, and that's something I'll get to in this presentation as well, but I am here to help you. I am happy to meet with you one-on-one. I'm at office hours every Thursday that you can come to get help. But Carla, the cat, let's pretend that she's joining my office hours. She joined in office hours on a Thursday to help learn about how she can have a Citizen Science Month event. And she also learned about a curated page of projects selected by the National Library of Medicine. That's SciStarter.org/NLM page I told you about. Carla wants to engage the senior population using digital resources at her library, so she picks the project Stall Catchers, an online game where volunteers categorize images from brain studies. She selects a time and a day for the seniors to come to the library to learn about citizen science and play Stall Catchers together. And if we adapt this for, let's say she has different social distancing guidelines where she is, she could pick a time and day for the seniors to join her on Zoom. She registers her event on CitizenScienceMonth.org and begins spreading the word. She contacts other community groups and uses free publicity materials provided at CitizenScienceMonth.org to let people know about her event. The Citizen Science event is a hit. People make new connections in their community, and the brain researchers get important data. Carla is already getting requests to do another event, and she can turn to SciStarter.org to find local or global projects. So that's the beauty of citizen science. We mentioned how diverse it is. The fact that there are projects like Stall Catchers, a game you can play anywhere in the world to do analysis for Alzheimer's research, that's a global project. But there are some projects that people have added to SciStarter that are hyper-local, like the Triangle Bird Count. That's just in North Carolina, and they're just asking people to count birds there. So it really depends on what you're looking for, but you can definitely find something for you on SciStarter, and you can get started during April via CitizenScienceMonth.org, which just redirects you to a page on SciStarter. Another resource that we've created with our partners is the Library and Community Guide to Citizen Science. So this Library and Community Guide, we released our most recent edition in December 2020. It's about 60 or so pages, chock full of ideas for libraries and community-based organizations to dive right in. It's relevant year-round, and I just want to reiterate, don't feel like you've missed the boat in April, because you can do something any day of the year for citizen science. But if you do want to engage during the month, let's say you want to pick an event that SciStarter is already putting on with a different partner and invite your patrons to it, like maybe one of our book talks, for example. Those tend to be really popular with libraries. The Library and Community Guide to Citizen Science will give you ideas for ongoing programming to make your library a hub for public engagement and real research. And this picture that's on the library guide, they almost feel like old friends at this point. We went to the Southeast Regional Library in Gilbert, Arizona. They've been a really great partner in terms of doing different really awesome kit programs that are a model for other libraries that want to do citizen science kits, as well as virtual programs and outdoor socially distant programs. They really have it all over there at Southeast Regional Library. And this is a picture of a patron and a library staff member going outside and engaging an iNaturalist to document local plants and give a geographic distribution of biodiversity. So the Library and Community Guide to Citizen Science, if you want further reading, that's a great place to start. And it's at pretty much everywhere I just told you about. It's available in English and Spanish now. And it's on that library resources page. It's on CitizenScienceMonth.org. It's listed on SciStarter.org/NLM. And you can also get the direct link that's on this slide. And I know there's a link bank that the StarNet folks have been providing, so don't feel pressured to jot every note down. I promise this will all make it back to you. So you've heard CitizenScienceMonth.org a few times. That's basically an easy way to kind of step you through the process. So you saw how Carla the cat got started with her Citizen Science Month programming. CitizenScienceMonth.org would be a great resource for her. So members of the public come to this page to find, to discover a Citizen Science Month featured project they can do on their own, or an event that they can join, either at their local library or maybe something online that's global. All those different types of events are listed on CitizenScienceMonth.org. But facilitators also come to this page to access additional resources. So these can include bookmarks that you can download from this page and share with your patrons for Citizen Science Month. And each bookmark has information about featured Citizen Science Month projects. There are also certificates that you could leverage with your community, buttons that you could use, posters, as well as a number of digital resources like press release templates and social media graphics. And we're really responsive too to the global community. I remember last year, someone asked me, I need a sandwich board so people know that they can come to my socially distant event. I said, all right, we're going to do a sandwich board. And we made a template and we put it up there for them to download. So if you go to CitizenScienceMonth.org, you'll find all these resources. The party is also starting on social media. We've been using the hashtag CitSciMonth, and there are CitSciMonth handles on Twitter and Instagram that a different group has been taking over each week. So these have included libraries, like the different regions of the network of the National Library of Medicine, as well as individuals from all over the world that have taken the reins of these accounts and shared their own citizen science stories and how they do citizen science in their organizations. So please join the party on social media, tag these CitSciMonth handles, and also tag SciStarter. We'd love to elevate what you're doing, even if you're just engaging as an individual and you're just doing projects, for yourself during Citizen Science Month. We want to celebrate you, and don't be afraid to join the party. So I mentioned that NLM page. When you're working, let's say you don't have the resources right now to plan a full program in April, you could still encourage your patrons to do projects on this NLM page to be part of this exciting effort. So you could direct your community here. You could ask everybody to make a SciStarter account. This is really important for them so they can keep track of all the awesome work they're doing and all the different projects they've joined. And it's just a really great tool. It's like their passport almost to discover all these new resources. So on this one page, they can make a SciStarter account, and they could do that tutorial we mentioned, as well as discover different featured projects. So I wanted to give you all a quick sampler, almost like a quick hit list before we get to our library specific presentation. So I've mentioned this project already in the presentation, but the Globe at Night project, there's a kit. There are special tools you can use to augment the project, to enhance it, but you can also do it without the kit. Basically, all Globe at Night wants you to do is to go outside and monitor light pollution by observing the night sky, by reporting what constellations you're able to see and how much of them you're able to see and how bright the sky is. Light pollution is a really serious problem. It has ramifications not only for human health, our circadian rhythms, but also for ecosystems and animal migration. So the Globe at Night project often resonates with different communities. And if you're in a library, you could partner with your local stargazing group or the Dark Sky Association if there's a chapter of them near you. And many libraries also have telescope programs. So this project is really primed for community partnerships, and it corresponds well with a lot of libraries. So I wanted to give it a shout out, and you can discover it on that NLM page. There's also the Great Sunflower Project. This is really popular, and it's not just sunflowers, it's any flowering plant. The name is kind of, the project's evolved over time since it was originally named. But this project is really popular. I've seen a lot of children's librarians do this with their patrons, because it's not exclusive to kids. I mean, I do it by myself as a 26-year-old, but it's a really great fit for folks where their only skill is that they know how to count. As long as you're able to pick a flowering plant, sit there, and count the number of pollinators that visit, you can participate in the Great Sunflower Project. And this project's really important because pollinators are responsible for every third bite of food that we eat. So this project, it's easy to make the case for why it matters. It really resonates with a lot of communities, and it could be a good fit for intergenerational learning or intergenerational programs at your library. There's also the Stall Catchers project. We talked about this, but I want to emphasize how much fun it is. When you're analyzing these videos, because it's gamified, you get points for each video you analyze. And this is another one that's really good for intergenerational learning. I've seen middle schoolers play alongside senior citizens. And the beauty of this is you can create different teams. So let's say you have a few branches in your library system and you want to get some friendly competition. You want to see who can accomplish the most research. You could do that with stall catchers. And this is also a project that you can have people participate in without being scared, because they can't use computers quite yet to conduct this analysis of blood vessels. They still need the human eye, but the project is able to leverage the power of the crowd by ranking people's contributions higher or lower, depending on how much they've played and how often their answers agree with other folks. So you can really dive into this and play and start making meaningful contributions without being worried that you're messing up the whole research. So this is a really good project, and I really recommend it for libraries especially. And I also just do it. I would say it's the project I do the most often as an individual, because I want to see an end to Alzheimer's disease, and it's really empowering to me that I can be a meaningful part of that research by participating in stall catchers. The IC Change project is also a really popular one, especially leading up to Earth Day, which happens during Citizen Science Month in April. The IC Change project basically empowers you to be an environmental reporter. It's a global community of people like you who are documenting the real-life effects of climate change and contributing to solutions. So what IC Change asks folks to do is, in their own community, say what the impact of weather and climate events are on them. If, for example, I'm in Florida, I often see sunny day flooding. So it won't be raining, but the sidewalks will flood. I'll take a picture of that and post it on IC Change, and I'll say whether or not I think it's unusual, if there are any like visible strange things going on. And also when it's a beautiful day and it's seasonably normal, I'll post that on IC Change as well. Whatever context you're able to give about your daily life to IC Change is really valuable for them, because that's qualitative data. Those words and pictures complement the quantitative data that they have from other sources like NASA. And the combined picture that forms, IC Change is able to take that to different resiliency planners from all around the world, and even sometimes contribute to infrastructure improvements. Like in New Orleans, they've worked with local authorities to take action on flooding and heat. In Miami, they're starting a new flooding investigation, and so much more. You can cover precipitation, you can cover temperature, you can cover wind events, whatever you see in your community. They want you to tell them. So that's an awesome project. And if your community wants to do something for Earth Day, this could be a good one that they jump right in on. And then Debris Tracker. I wanted to give them a shout out because I do cleanups a lot in my community. I was the grand prize scholarship winner at Miss Earth USA this past year. And Miss Earth USA, they love doing cleanups. And whenever I do cleanups with them, wearing my mask and all of that, I use the Debris Tracker app to log what litter I'm picking up. And believe it or not, by doing that, you're able to help researchers fight plastic pollution and other types of pollution by identifying hotspots of different items. So I did a community cleanup in Fort Lauderdale, Florida recently, and I think they must have set some sort of world record for cigarette butts on the streets. But I logged all the cigarette butts I picked up, and that helps create a picture of where there might be certain hotspots of what, and that could inform solutions about what to do. But at the very least, it's a really important research insight and a good step to understanding what's going on with this very important problem. So the Debris Tracker project is available for you and your community to discover on SciStarter.org/NLM. So in summary, there are a lot of different ways to engage in Citizen Science Month this April, and a lot of different ways to engage in citizen science in general. Researchers often add their project to SciStarter. A number of researchers are co-hosting events with me on Zoom during Citizen Science Month to bring their patrons, to bring library patrons and different folks from around the world to their project. So if you want to see some of the events that folks have added or co-hosting with me, you can go to CitizenScienceMonth.org. But the way that these researchers co-host events with me is they join my office hours and we plan it together. And those are on every Thursday. And you can find the dial-in at the bottom of CitizenScienceMonth.org/mailing list. And if you want to go ahead and sign up for that mailing list, you'll get also library updates and facilitator updates. Same with community leaders. You're just as likely to find a library staff member, a researcher from in some country somewhere in the world, or an individual who just wants to learn more about citizen science. All types of people are welcome at my office hours. But if you want tips about how to leverage the introduction to citizen science tutorial with your community, or you're trying to brainstorm what project would be the best fit for your patrons, feel free to come to my office hours, come visit. We can talk about it. We could even plan a program together. It's not too late for Citizen Science Month, or we could plan something for the next few months. So community leaders often find something to do with their community on CitizenScienceMonth.org. They leverage one of those featured projects or the tutorial. They even add an event for other folks to discover. And if you need any help along the way, you can come to my office hours and I'll be able to help you. And for individuals, they just do citizen science. So you can find an event or a project to participate on CitizenScienceMonth.org. You can keep track of your participation to different projects. So I haven't mentioned this yet, but we've talked about how there are thousands of projects, events, and tools listed on SciStarter. But of these, over 100, not all the projects, but quite a few projects, around 100 or so, have opted to become SciStarter affiliates, meaning that they've gone the extra mile to engage folks. So when you have a SciStarter account, if you follow all the instructions for a given project, if it's a SciStarter affiliate, you'll be able to get some frequency statistics in your SciStarter dashboard, meaning that you'll be able to keep track of the number and frequency of your contributions to these different projects. So because Debris Tracker is a SciStarter affiliate, every time I log litter in Debris Tracker, I'm able to go back to my SciStarter dashboard and say, wow, I participated 7 times on this particular day. Or same with stall catchers. Every classification I make, I'm able to go back to my SciStarter dashboard and say, wow, I classified 27 videos on this particular day. And that's just helpful for me as an individual. But no matter what, you can find something new on CitizenScienceMonth.org. So what are you going to do this April 2021? We are here to help. You could do one of our social media takeovers I mentioned. It's not too late to sign up for one of those. You could go ahead and get an event on our calendar. You could sign up for those facilitator updates, and I really hope you do that no matter what. Or you could just go to CitizenScienceMonth.org and explore. And I wanted to reiterate, this is all possible because of our partners, because of the National Library of Medicine and the All of Us Research Program, because of ASU, and then we at SciStarter, we are so grateful to you all for caring about these issues and wanting to take action during Citizen Science Month. So before I pass it to my friends from different libraries around the country, I wanted to give a few event ideas. So if you're looking for something to engage your community in, let's say it's too late for you to plan an event, but you wouldn't mind inviting patrons to something else to entertain them and excite them. This coming Saturday, April 3rd, it's Citizen Science Kids Day, presented by SciStarter. Time for Kids reporters are going to be interviewing celebrities from National Geographic's Weird But True, which you may have seen on Disney+, and PBS's Sci Girls, and they're going to dive into the iNaturalist project, which is all about discovering different plants and animals around you. And the Citizen Science Kids Day, it's great for especially, younger kids or kids who are, maybe ages 6 to 12, but people of all ages would probably enjoy this event and learn something new from it. So definitely RSVP for that. That's this coming Saturday, and feel free to invite your patrons to that as well. We also have a Gaming for Science Day that's presented by NNLM, the All of Us Research Program, and SciStarter. And what we're doing on this day is we're going to do stall catchers, and we're also going to engage folks from all around the world in 2 other citizen science games I didn't have time to talk about. One of them is called Eureka, which is all about mental health and dementia research. And the other one's called Eterna, which is a puzzle-based game where you're designing RNA-based medicines. So if you want to RSVP for this one or point your patrons to it, this will be a lot of fun. I think this could really correspond to people in my demographic. 20-somethings would probably really enjoy this, or teens, or adults who are, there are so many gamers out there of all ages. I think this would be a really good event to invite your patrons to. And then the last event I'll point to is Citizen Science in the Night Sky. So this is presented by SciStarter, NASA's Night Sky Network, and Astronomy Magazine. It's featuring 3 different astronomy projects. This is another good event for all ages. It's at 6 p.m. Pacific time on April 29th. And you may have seen what I just did there. I presented an event from the beginning of the month, an event from the middle of the month, and an event that's at the end of the month. And these are just 3 events that I thought would be a good fit for you to invite your patrons to, but there are over 100 listed on CitizenScienceMonth.org. So I promise you'll find an event that interests you that folks have added. But don't take it from me. Now I'm going to invite Lori Fitzgerald, Judy Brown, and Barbara Shatara to talk about what they're doing in their local libraries. And hopefully their story lets you know that this is possible for you too. So I'm going to let them inspire you. And I'm going to go to the next slide.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lori Fitzgerald, and I am a paraprofessional at St. Charles City County Library in the administration building. And I help bring different events to our library. And about last January, I think, not this 2021, but 2020, I was asked to review some science webinars to start bringing science projects and classes and kits to our library. And I kind of made a face because I just said ooh to science and ooh to math. But I changed my attitude, went and watched the webinar, and now I'm full blown into citizen science. I just think it's so fun. It's not so much about the test tubes and measuring things and being a brilliant scientist. It's just being, as Caroline said, just making observations in nature and bringing it to your library. So here, this slide is that I'm showing you is an event that we're going to do for Citizen Science Month, and Darlene Cavalier will be there with her book that she wrote, and I believe it's called The Field Guide to Citizen Science, How You Can Contribute to Scientific Research and Make a Difference. So she will be presenting that, and we're very excited to have her. And we just asked them like back in March if they could present this, and this quickly turned around April 1st. They couldn't believe it. So Caroline and Darlene are amazing, and I've just loved working with them. And like Caroline said, you can reach out to her all the time to get help. So what I wanted to share with you on my slide also is that if you go to mylibrary.org, you'll learn about the many classes that we have, and we have just begun starting. And one of our tricks that I found out from Caroline is that we can use some of her things from Citizen Science and then do a third-party registration. So we have done that. So what we have upcoming April 1st is the Citizen Science in the City with Darlene Cavalier, and then we have a K through 3 grade project that's going on, Take and Make Peep Science, make your own laundry detergent, that's for all ages, help predict floods with crowd water, and that is actually a copy from SciStarter, and we just post that up so that our customers who are not familiar at all with SciStarter can reach out and find out different things about it. Another adult program is how to create a salsa garden. Another one was from hive to honey. We had someone that went to a beekeeping place and did a little video on that. For preschool, we have Earthquakes, Growing Scientist. We also borrowed from SciStarter Caterpillars Count, and that's a third-party registration event. Citizen Science for Kids is also going to be a promotion from Darlene and Caroline for our kids program. And let's see, we have some homeschool explorers, some take and make sink or float, and then we have learned about the library telescope with Chuck Sims, and he does a video on how to use a library telescope. And we do have kits now for binoculars and telescopes to check out. So those are the exciting things that we have at our library. I just wanted to encourage you to not be afraid. That I know there's so much information out there, and especially if you're not a science person like me, it can be a little overwhelming. But I just I signed up on Citizen Science, SciStarter, and just kind of explored a little bit to see what were my interests and what would get me excited. We did have someone come and talk about owls in our park in Forest Park in St. Louis, and we just started from there and started from scratch. And then I reached out to Wild Birds Unlimited and found someone who was happy to present about birds. and we have botanical garden and just so many other things in our surrounding area, people who are willing to come and talk about citizen science. So thank you for listening, and thanks for the opportunity, Caroline and Darlene.
Yeah, thank you, Lori. And I really want to reiterate that, like, this is Lori, she didn't know if she was a science person at first, but I think the fact that we can make this fun, the fact that we're coming together to make a difference is a fun thing, is really exciting. And like some things I took away from what Lori just said, she's leveraging community partners, local partners, to engage in projects that are national and international. Like Caterpillars Count, that's a project you can do pretty much anywhere in the United States as long as you have a local site. But Lori's able to work with folks in her community to make a difference for this national project, which I think is just so cool. So Lori, hats off to you. Thanks for doing this. And we'll see you on April 1st, which is in 2 days. It's really coming up. So we'll see you then. And we're excited to get to know your community a little bit better. All right, next up we have Judy Brown.
Well, hello, I'm Judy Brown, and wow, Lori, it sounds like you're doing a lot of things. For Citizen Science Month, San Miguel Library, where I've worked for 23 years, is going to be doing the Great Sunflower Project. And here, okay. So we know pollinators are crucial to the world's food supply, and we know that they are in massive decline. The Great Sunflower Project is a way that scientists can gather more data from our community and see if we can find some solutions to the problem. For citizen scientists, all it takes is curiosity and the willingness to submit our observations. And it doesn't have to be a sunflower like Caroline was saying. It could be any flower at all, but I am told that native bees in particular really do like the lemon queen sunflowers. So you sit and you record what you see, and then you go to the website, enter your data, and you're done. Plus you've got a little fresh air and a touch of nature to enhance your day. At San Miguel Library, we wanted to share this resource. So the idea was to make a really attractive incentive to get their attention. And this was a pollinators kit, complete with the binocular stopwatch, field guides, field journal, clipboard, and a handy canvas bag to tote it all to your park, neighborhood, or backyard. So what we decided to do was to have the first 25 kits that we make, we were going to give them away to people who signed up for this particular program. And we're going to make 5 circ. So other libraries in the system can offer them to their patrons. And this was our first goal. Our second goal of this grant was to advertise the All of Us research program in all 14 county branches. So we're going to do brochures and flyers, and that's the second goal. The third goal was collection development to include citizen science, general citizen science books and pollinator books and AV, again, both in English and in Spanish. And that's my presentation. Thank you, SciStarter, and thank you, StarNet. Looks like a really interesting website. I'm looking forward to exploring it more. And please join us on Thursday, April 22nd, Earth Day at 1 p.m. To register for the link, or to register for the program, there's a link at the bottom of the slide.
Yeah, and the great thing about Judy and Lori and Barbara's programs, as well as another program I'm going to talk about, they're all listed on CitizenScienceMonthorg. So you all, like, let's say that you really want your patrons to do the Great Sunflower Project as well. Have them RSVP for Judy's program. I'll be there. Judy and I are going to have a blast. We've done programs together before. And we'll just walk people through how to participate and how to count pollinators and make a difference to understand how pollinator populations are changing. So please, please, please join us for those events. This is your open invite. And you might be wondering, how have you all done so many programs together? It's because folks have joined my office hours. I'm so open to brainstorming with you all. And there are so many other members of the SciStarter team, our founder, Darlene Cavalier, one of our library folks, Tara Cox. They're really generous. We're generous with our time because we are so inspired by you, and we want to do programs with you to reach your communities. Now, and also Barbara and Judy, so you're going to hear from Barbara up next, but you just heard from Judy. They're both grantees from the Network of the National Library of Medicine. So any library and any community group can celebrate Citizen Science Month, but we have the opportunity to work with NNLM to spread the word about this grant opportunity. And then NNLM was able to select and award 15 libraries from around the United States extra support to do Citizen Science Month programming. So now I'm going to pass the mic to Barbara to talk about what's going on at the Fletcher Free Library in Burlington, Vermont.
Hi, everyone. And I will say right at the outset that Caroline has been really a great supporter and is very accessible. This is our first foray into citizen science for adults. We've been doing some STEAM kits for kids over the years. And we've just started doing some citizen science watershed kits with children, but we hadn't been doing anything along those lines with adults. And when we saw this opportunity came up for the grant, that gave us the impetus to get going on it. And one of our primary focus was to make citizen science accessible. So in order to do that, we decided we would make kits. And so we chose 5 different citizen science projects that have some connection to Vermont. We're doing eBird, Vermont Lady Beetle Atlas, Butterfly Biodiversity. We're doing the Great Sunflower Project and Got Bats. And we decided that if we could put together backpacks and other kits full of things that would make it really easy and exciting for people to participate and make those kits available, that would get people started on citizen science. And in April, we'll be doing a program, a virtual program with the executive director of Birds of Vermont Museum, who will be talking about citizen science projects and particularly those that relate to birds. And in Vermont, April is kind of a chilly month, and we don't do any programming inside at the moment. We probably won't be doing any indoor programming for quite a while, but we do have this beautiful lawn out in front, and we make good use of that in the summertime. So in April, we'll be getting the kits launched, and we'll be doing the Citizen Science Introductory Program and getting a lot of publicity out about citizen science. And then in June, in connection with the CSLP's Tales and Tales summer reading program, we're going to be doing a whole big push for citizen science and just science programming in general for adults and well, really all ages. And we are going to have a big summer event in the on June 23rd, where people can come to the lawn and meet organizations like ECHO, Lake Aquarium, the Birds of Vermont, Vermont Agency of Natural Resources, the Vermont Institute of Natural Science. There's all kinds of organizations we're going to have come and talk about how they support citizen science in Vermont and how people can get started. And our other avenue is to go towards populations that have been somewhat marginalized as far as participating in these kinds of programs. And we have a large English language learner population here. Vermont, Burlington is a refugee resettlement program site. So we have people that speak up to 56 languages in our city schools. And so we want to be able to find materials and provide some translated materials, and we'll have kits specially for people that have low English literacy. And then we also want to reach out to the senior population, older adults, and we're working with senior centers in Burlington to help place a few kits there, so people that are coming to the center can pick up those kits and get information about other science programs. We're really excited to get this started, and we're really excited for spring. So I just want to say thank you to Caroline and everyone who helped make that possible for us.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Barbara. I'm excited to work with you all. You all are so inspiring. One thing that I really love that Barbara's doing is that she's translating her resources into multiple languages, so including Arabic, so they could reach their local refugee population. So Fletcher Free Library rocks. All of these libraries you've heard from today are such inspirations to me. I also wanted to spotlight the Lumi Island Heritage Trust. They're working with their local libraries, the Island Library in Washington State. And the reason I wanted to give a quick shout out to their event is they're doing quite a few different things. So they have books in their local library and data sheets that folks can do and pick up to do citizen science. But they're doing a really interesting hybrid event for Citizen Science Month. So they're doing a webinar with me in the morning where we're going to talk about how folks can participate in 3 different citizen science projects. But then in the afternoon, they're going to use the debris tracker project for a socially distant cleanup. So today you've learned about, online events you can do with folks. So webinars where you can instruct people and engage them in different projects. You've learned about socially distant in-person events you can do with folks, like kit programs where people can pick them up from their library, and then events that maybe have a virtual and an in-person component. So sky's really the limit with citizen science. So we'd love to work with you all. We'd love to see you participate during Citizen Science Month. Really quickly, you may be wondering, how can I stay in the loop with these opportunities? Like if other mini grants pop up, or just go on CitizenScienceMonth.org/mailing list. But it's this link will also take you there. It's very helpful. And in our last few minutes, I'm going to let Claire facilitate a discussion about citizen science topics that may be of interest to folks. And a warm thank you again to all of our presenting libraries today, and to Claire from StarNet.
Awesome. Thank you, Caroline, and thank you to all of our presenters. That was excellent information. So we only have about a minute left. So if you do need to leave early, Stephanie, if you could drop the certificate of attendance in the chat. And Beatrice, thank you again. She just dropped the link bank in there. So if you're looking for any of those resources, they're all there in that link bank for you. But if you have time to stick around, we'd love to hear from you. What citizen science topics may be of interest to your community? So you've heard a bunch of ideas, and we'd love to hear what stuck with you. So feel free to answer them in the chat. Also at this time, if you have any questions, put those in the chat as well. We've been trying to field them. I think we've got most of them. In terms of grant opportunities, that question came up. Caroline just answered, join that network, join that link that she dropped right there. You'll receive information about future grant opportunities. And thank you, Caroline, for jumping in with the question about why April? Why is Citizen Science Month in April? Looks like Caroline answered that with, it was created in relation to a number of science festivals occurring across the country during April, during a few years ago. So it's kind of snowballed into this reoccurring event every April. But yeah, if anyone wants to put ideas in the chat, we'd love to hear what citizen science topics may be of interest to your community. One person earlier in the chat mentioned, we're libraries, we plan months in advance. What's happening in 7 months that we could relate to citizen science? And one idea was do an astronomy related citizen science project. NASA is launching a whole new telescope up into space, the JWST telescope, in October. So that could be a really fun event to rally around and do some of the stuff Caroline was talking about in terms of light pollution, and other astronomy-related citizen science projects.
Yeah, and I would also say those NLM projects, they are active year-round. Like light pollution is a problem that's not going away. The stall catchers project, I think they have quite a few data sets left to go through. They'll be around for the foreseeable future. So these are projects that will definitely still be there in 7 months and still have really compelling research questions for you to answer. So definitely any of those NLM projects at SciStarter.org/NLM will be great for programming. I'm happy to do a webinar with you in 7 months if you'd like. And also, like Claire said, signing up for that library network page will allow us to keep you in the loop with all the different planning updates we have, especially for libraries.
We have a question in the chat here. Since the Roswell Public Library is in the middle of town with a very small patch of grass and no good area for outdoor activities, are there good projects that would work for our patrons?
Yes, come to the Citizen Science in the City program we have with Lori, and you can learn more from Darlene Cavalier, the founder of SciStarter. But that being said, there are lots of good projects you can do in urban areas. Citizen science is a global thing, and there are projects that work in all sorts of different places. So the Globe at Night project may be good to study light pollution. You could do the debris tracker project. I did that in urban Fort Lauderdale a few weeks back, where I tracked all my cigarette butts. And also there's a lot of urban nature out there. I've had a lot of luck doing iNaturalist in the middle of city centers, like in Philadelphia. I know I was like scanning weeds that were growing up through sidewalk cracks. So there, no matter what, you're gonna find a project, and SciStarter.org/NLM is a great place to start.
And Caroline, can you repeat that last one you mentioned?
Yeah, so iNaturalist is a really popular project. You can do it from anywhere, but it's where you log observations of biodiversity, so different naturally occurring plants and animals you see. It could be weeds that you see in your community. It could be an urban bird. It could be a pigeon even. Any type of biodiversity is useful for researchers to understand where different plants and animals are. But I really recommend going to SciStarter.org/NLM and getting started with those projects for your community.
And we have another comment in the chat about how, again, libraries really plan months in advance. Their lead time is so long. So we do realize we're bringing this information to you so soon, with April just 2 days away. So we definitely will, in the future, try to make sure these things are promoted to libraries more farther in advance. However, we did want to bring these opportunities to you because while Citizen Science Month may just be April, this is something you can do year round. So if you're looking for summer programming ideas, getting your patrons outdoors, please remember all of these resources, and you can use them at any time during the year, even beyond just April.
Yeah, and you could attend, one of Lori's or Barbara's or Judy's events. You can find it at CitizenScienceMonth.org and attend it. Allow that to inspire you, and then do something similar with your library in October or November. So yeah, there's always something you can do. Citizen Science Month is a great time to be inspired, and then you can enact it in your library anytime, on any day of the year.
Great. Well, we are at 4 minutes past the end time, so we'll stick around for about 1 more minute for any lingering questions. But thank you so much for joining us today. And once again, thank you so much to all of our library facilitators for sharing their stories. And thank you so much to Caroline Nickerson. Your support for libraries and citizen science is so excellent. So definitely be sure to reach out. And we have a question for Caroline. When are your office hours?
Yes, they are every Thursday at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you sign up on this library network link, so SciStarter.org/library network, I'll email you all with our next office hours dial-in.
And another question, is there an online flyer for Citizen Science Kids Day that we could share with our participants?
Yes, if you go to CitizenScienceMonth.org, it's on the calendar. It's on April 3rd. Take that flyer, share it with your friends and family, and anybody in your community. It should be in the link bank as well, a direct link to Citizen Science Kids Day.
Yes, yeah, that is in the link bank. So Beatrice, if you could drop that link bank one more time in the chat so people have that at the bottom of their chat, that would be great. Thank you, Beatrice. All right, additionally included in that link bank is my email as well as Caroline's email. So if you do have questions after this, feel free to reach out to either of us and we'll get back to you. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And that is it for now. So goodbye.
Hi, Claire. Thank you.